Welcome back to the channel. I know this is not the tractor that most of you like to see, but we have to. Sometimes we just got to use this one. So today we need to get ready for, we got to do a couple different things. Number one on the list is get ready for wheat planting this fall. So it's currently September and like September 19th. So we're getting really close. They still want really warm and stuff. So we're not quite to the planting time yet, but we're getting close. And I want to get that field that we had oats planted in. It's all foxtail. It's a mess right now, which is going to make it tough in the spring because you know what all them seeds are going to do. But anyway, I want to get down there, bush hog all that, get it chopped up. We might even go over it twice. There's a little bit of the section that you've seen in the hayfield that we left by the house that we did not cut. So I'm gonna cut that also, which is literally like one pass with a 15-foot batwing. And the big creek field, as I like to call it, down there was the oats and also that really tall, like up to here, grass that was not good for hay that we didn't cut. So we gotta cut all that. That we're not doing anything with in the fall, but I at least want to have all that stuff cut, and that way it's not completely overgrown, because it's gonna make it hard probably come spring for whatever we decide to put in there. So we have a good 2 areas. We do actually have a 3rd area that we probably could cut also, but I'm gonna check and make sure and double check, because I looked at that before, but I want to make sure that it's not suitable for hay. So if that's not, we'll cut that field also. So that puts us, if you want to call that little strip, it's basically going to put us, I think, at 4 fields. So we'll get the mower hooked up to the Kioti and we'll get mowing. This shouldn't take long at all. Hopefully we don't have that issue where we had with the fuse that blew in this. Dad used this and mowed quite a bit, and I don't think anything really happened. Everything worked good. So that issue should be all solved. So we'll get that hooked up and we'll get mowing. I would be lying if it has not crossed my mind to try and hook this up to the 460 and run it. Obviously with the 460 not quite up to speed yet and running as it should, it probably wouldn't. But when it's running tip top and everything's golden with it, I wouldn't be afraid to try it. Let's roll. Here's the corn I planted in like late July in tassels. We got ears. The deer are hitting it very, very hard though. We have hardly had any rain. I think it rained a little bit either yesterday or the day before for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It did make the soil wet, at least maybe right under the surface, but it wasn't near enough to really help the plants. We haven't had a good rain in, I'd say, almost a month, if I had to guess. So really hoping and praying for some rain, but not a pouring rain that just runs off right away. I'll put it this way, I have not mowed my grass in probably a month. because it's just not growing. The hay's not growing, nothing's growing. The hay fields that I cut however long ago, those look the same height as when I cut them. It's just, there's no moisture, there's no rain. So hopefully we get some soon. Here's the first field coming up. And this is pretty much 95% foxtail now. Unfortunately. We're up to speed. Let's cut. This over here is really bad. It's terrible. But the mower's chopping it right down. Majority of this, everything out there is foxtail. Yellow foxtail, and in my mind is one of the worst weeds you can have in your field. There's millions of seeds out here right now. All I'm doing right now is pretty much seeding the field full of more foxtail seeds, but I do plan to spray the wheat this spring to take care of those. In second gear right now, so I'm not flying around the field. I could be in third, and I could bump this actually up to high gear because it does have it. I do have the ability to just push a button and bump it up. And once we get a little bit to where we're not so close to the edges, then we may do that. This got terrible with foxtail and weeds and everything else. In fact, a lot of the fields did this year. Majority of which were affected by so much spring rain, and we had a lot of drown outs within the oat fields. That was the biggest thing right there. So that really hurt us. But again, we can't control the weather. There's just nothing I can do about that. So every year is something different, and I gotta just take what I get and do it that way. Whatever weather we have, then I'll do what I need to do. This was really thick here, so I pretty much took care of that already. I will just keep doing loops around the field. Field number one's done, and there's a lot of junk, so this could make it interesting for like to try and do tillage here. Would be nice to just be able to rake everything in one giant pile and just burn it, light a match. Now we'll head to field number two, which is just across basically this little stream here. And Dad started that, but we'll go up here and hit a couple passes and finish it off. Make sure it's not good enough for hay, but I'm almost positive it's not. Here we are. This is the steep field, if you've been watching the channel for a while, that I had corn in, and then I tried planting hay in here, or like grasses, I guess you could say. I'm gonna jump out and check and make sure that there is not really worth cutting hay, but I'm just gonna make sure. I already see some foxtail here. And this sucks because, I mean, there is grasses in here, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of grass in that. But there's weeds, and there's also a lot of foxtail as we walk out through here. And a lot of the brown you see, that's foxtail actually dying off. Weeds up here. So yeah, I don't think we're really gonna cut this for hay. It's just not good. You know, I want to try something again. Whoa, it worked! I need to try that for the rest of the fields. This will go 10 times faster. Yeah, this is all foxtail here in this little section, so. On to field number 4 and the final field. You can see how desperate we need rain. There's like nothing left of the goat pasture. Not a thing. Terrible. We really need some rain. That corn does not look good. Yeah, this is the tall stuff. This grass is about as tall as the front of the hood. And this would have made a lot of hay, but it is very stemmy, and that is like barnyard grass, supposedly kind of like a weed. So I mowed, if you watch that video, which I think it was a little while ago when we mowed that with the hay vine, I got to maybe up in here somewhere, quit, and then kind of figured out what it was, and that's what it told me it was. So this is gonna make a lot of trash laying in the field, so I gotta get this mowed quick. That way it can rot down, and then we may have to mow it again. Here you can get a really good gauge of how tall this stuff really is. It's pretty tall, but it's really stemmy, so it may look thick, but with it just being mostly stems, it's not that bad. A lot of these trees need to be trimmed up a little bit. But this is basically right in here, and pretty much the whole length so far is what we faced in the spring after we planted our oats. We got the seed in the ground at perfect time. We ended up having all that rain in the spring, therefore a lot of drown out. And that's what hurt us the most in the majority of our fields for the oats, because then the oats didn't grow and the weeds did. Well, that's a good start. I'm gonna finish this tomorrow. This won't take long at all. Might have to go over this twice because of it being so stemmy. It is letting a little bit hang. But yeah, you can see just how tall this stuff is. It's taller than me. Probably about 6.5 feet tall, maybe 7 at the really tall spots. So yeah, it's gonna make it a challenge, but luckily I'm not doing wheat or anything in here, so we'll just get it all bush hogged again. Might go over this twice. Let's go finish this last field. I'm down to the final, probably 2 passes maybe. I might be able to get the last one just coming back, but we'll see. This is definitely thick. This is gonna let a lot of residue in the field, but I don't plan on doing anything with this field this year anymore. We're not planting wheat in here, anything like that. A lot of foxtail right here at this spot. So we're just gonna have to deal with it probably in the spring, unfortunately. That field I went over like twice. It wasn't really the best. Still not the best, but it's better than when I went over it the first time. So some of that stuff was 6 foot tall. I really had no choice but to go over it twice. A lot of that stuff should rot down. The problem's gonna be all them yellow foxtail seeds that are gonna be in the ground and sprout and grow, so on and so forth. But now at this point, I should be done mowing fields. Now we need to kind of look forward, look ahead, and get ready for wheat. I have 2 fields that I want to plant wheat in this year, winter wheat, and because I have seed from left over from last year, so I want to use that up. So that's what we got to be looking towards now, is getting ready to get some wheat in the ground and preparing some fields for that. So that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like on the video and let me some comments in the comment section below of if there's something you want to see on the channel or something you want me to make a video on. Let me know. Anyway, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Hope you have a great day.